At last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have revenge.
There we go. Hello. Octi's right in time. Okay, this is horrible. This part right here is the worst because it gets in my nose. It feels like I'm wearing a mask. Anyway, hello. Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. We're going to play some Halo. People that I think I would... Oh, I can be Jar Jar now. Cool. Excellent. Everyone's dream. Oh, look how he walks. Okay. I feel like they're doing that on purpose just to make fun of him, and I'm here for it. I appreciate it. Pudge, jelly. Guys. There's a Waddles the Rabbit. Hold on. I'm a part of this now. I didn't name this. I didn't name this rabbit. I wish I could take credit for it, but I didn't. They're completely random. Waddles the Rabbit. Hashtag Waddles lives. You may have Waddles the Pig, but I got Waddles the Rabbit. That is weird, isn't it?
And lose them in the national forest. Or slam into
Boom! Yeah! Who's a Wish.com hitman now? You see that back turn? Look at that.
Damn it.
That was excellent. That was so cool. Yeah. Carry on my wayward. Hot going. For soup, not anything. Yeah. And then I think that's a Jedi holocron. Right there. It's hard to see in here, but that was that blue piece we put in earlier. The Jedi holocron. I think. I choose to believe. All right. So yeah, there it is. Do or do not. There is no try. Thank you all for joining this morning. It has been great fun. Who wouldn't keep the laser sword? Yeah. You got a good point. It's dance party. Rams are coming to Australia. Dodge Ram. Ford F-150. You're not a man without a Ford F-150.
Cool.
Dodge Ram. Ford F-150. Dodge. Dodge out of the way in your Ford F-150. I'm really tired. I don't know why I'm so tired. Good morning, everyone. Hello. Clumsy, thank you for becoming the Phantom Menace for the 51st time. Whew. When will it end? Probably when I wipe the file. Or rather, hold on, please. When I wipe the file. Or when we start the new game. Whenever I actually do that. But good morning. Hello. I don't know why I'm so tired. I went to bed at a reasonable hour. I slept all night long. And I'm just like, ugh. You know? It was probably the pizza last night. I bet that has something to do with it. The pizza might have had a little something to do with it. Even after we had it, even Ashley was like, we shouldn't have had pizza. Why did we do that? I was like, because pizza's delicious. And whenever I have pizza, I have a hard time controlling myself. But, you know, the rest of the day I was doing okay. Pizza makes you sleepy. I don't know so much if it's sleepy as it is just makes me feel kind of like heavy the next day for probably most of the next day. You know, it just kind of sits heavy. It doesn't really give me energy, you know. It doesn't make me feel great, but yet it's the most delicious thing on this planet. And I will probably continue to eat it, only I am working on my moderation. I probably did better with it last night than I have in the past. That I've been known to in the past. I've been known to in the past, like we'd get a large pizza plus like some kind of cheesy bread or something. Eat most of it that night and then save a couple pieces for leftover cold pizza the next morning. I didn't do that this time. We got one pizza. All three of us shared it. And there's no leftovers for this morning, which is both sad and good because I don't need cold pizza right now. I don't need it. Anyway, happy Thursday. It is Thursday, April 4th, 2024. I am very happy to announce that I have done what I promised that I would do. I had said at the beginning of the year that before my birthday, I would schedule a meeting with the dentist. Now, I didn't say that meeting would happen before my birthday, but I did schedule it. And they're a very busy place. And I believe it's in May 23rd or 24th. I put it on my calendar. So it is there. It is in. It's like the week after I get back from my business trip. So I'm very proud. Making appointments sounds terrifying. It isn't even so much doing the appointment. It's the fact that you know that you have to go in after that. I don't know. It's so complicated. It's silly. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it is what it is, you know? Something to do with my introvertedness, my ADHD, my upbringing, the fact that I don't really like people, you know. It can be expensive. I don't think I need a lot of work done. Most of what I need done is visual. I have a very, at least noticeable to me, tartar buildup on my lower teeth. It has affected the way that I speak because I try very hard to keep my bottom teeth out of frame. And I know they can get rid of it, and I should have done it years ago, and I just never did because I was afraid, I guess. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Blue, good morning. But now it's set. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go. Whatever happens, happens. And we'll just be brave, you know? I won't really be that worried when we get there. It really is just the what if, you know? I'm going to do a little bit of filling in this morning. I hope that's okay. We need to make the right side of this. But those buildings need to be about like right here. So I'm going to need to fill in quite a bit of this mountain here, or this side. So maybe we'll just kind of do this and chat this morning, huh? Talk about how our lives are. What we've been up to lately. I'd love to hear it, you know? But yeah, finally got that done. I gotta say, in the beginning of the year, I was like, I have so much time before April. April is a long way away. And it's here. It's already here. I can't believe it. This year is going by so incredibly fast. Each day doesn't seem that fast, but the year as a whole has seemed to just fly by. Yeah, I don't know. I was like, oh man, by April things are gonna be like, things are gonna be great for me. Excuse me. It's taking me a little bit longer to get where I want to be, and that's fine. That's fine. As long as I am better at the end of this year than when I started, then this year will be a success, right? In the things that I can control. If there are things that happen that are outside of my control, whatever. But in the things that I can control, my hope is that I'm in a better spot at the end of the year. That's it. That's my only real goal. My my bar is on the floor. Just be a little bit better than last year, okay? That's it. Good morning. My 6-year-old wants to tell you that he got a haircut. You finally got your haircut. Now this isn't the one that you did, right? Don't do that. Don't do that again, okay? Listen, we've all been there. Just be careful around scissors, okay? That's all that I ask. I have a little kid too, and I'm sure one day he is going to. Sorry, should I not have said that you told us that? I'm sorry. I hope I don't embarrass you. But I have a kid too, and one of these days, I'm sure that he is also gonna take the scissors and cut his hair, because he just seems like he's gonna be that kind of kid, you know. So it happens, but I hope you learn. I hope you learn something, you know. It's funny. I could just see his face, like, what? All right. How far out do I need to come here? Oh gosh, this is gonna take forever. Excuse me. When I first picked this location, I really didn't think that I was gonna have to go this big, but yeah. Excuse me. Jeez. I did take my medicine this morning. But I'm still kind of experiencing a little bit of nasal drip here. I think I took it too late. I kind of remembered like 15 minutes before stream, and I should do it as soon as I wake up. One time I tried it at night. I tried to do it before bed, and I think it worked pretty well. I bet you I slept a little bit better without having stuff dripping down my throat. You know? I would imagine. It's like, Mom, can we send... Excuse me, hang on. Let me take care of this. There we go. You really are like Santa. You know everything. No. Man, I love Santa Non. Should we do a Christmas in July and bring back Santa Non for a stream? Just get halfway to Christmas and do a halfway Christmas spectacular. He's like, Mom, can we send a message? I asked him what he wanted to say, and that's what he picked. That's awesome. Very cool. Haircuts are fun. You can tell I need one. I need one too. And my little boy needs one as well. So we probably need to try to go together maybe this weekend. I should probably try to schedule that with my stylist if she's very popular. And she fills up pretty quick. I think if this stylist ever goes away, like stops doing haircuts or whatever, which she's kind of alluded to, like one day, I'm probably just going to start buzzing my head. I'm sorry, Mrs. Nonder, I'm sure you're watching this later. But like, what am I supposed to do at that point? I don't trust anyone else. It's a big process to find a stylist, you know? She doesn't judge me for my thinning hairline. She's like, listen, it is what it is. And it does look a lot better when you keep it cut. It does make it feel, look a lot less noticeable when you keep it cut low. So I'm like, okay. So what am I supposed to go and like teach somebody all over again how to do my hair? I don't even have to tell her anymore. She just does it. You know? What am I supposed to do? Try to tell them I want a low fade on the left hand side with the part razored in, And then what? I've told her so many stories now about my life. I'm gonna tell another stranger about my life? No. I've finally gotten comfortable with this person. You know? I don't have to. There's no stories for me to tell. You know? It's great. Just show a picture. Yeah. No, she kind of alluded to like, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, but she kind of alluded to like, listen, if that ever happens, I'll make sure that I leave like detailed instructions for that you can like take with you, you know? That's just the first time she mentioned it was a couple of sessions ago, and I was like, wait a minute. Don't leave me. Don't leave me. You're the only one who understands me. Understands my hair. It's just a lot. I would much rather do my own hair at home, to be honest. If I could figure out a way to do it. I mean, I could probably learn, right? To just cut my own hair. Ugh, it looks so bad though. But if I could do it at home, I would keep my hair like the same length all the time. I wouldn't wait until it looks like this to go in and get a haircut.
It's Chuck Norris's water.
I would do it like
it's a
immediately.
roundhouse kick of hydration.
Thank you for the roundhouse kick of hydration. Did I get one earlier that I missed? No, okay. Pirate Eggs wasn't here. All right. Pirate Eggs usually does one right at the beginning before I even start. Ursa, hello. I don't know what clumsy art is referring to, but yes, just show your photo to people. I'm referring to my hairstylist. When inevitably she retires or something, I was saying I'm just gonna buzz my hair down, just get rid of all of it, because I don't want to teach anybody else, you know. It isn't even so much having to teach somebody about my hair. It's just like I've been going to the same stylist now for like, it's got to be a couple years, right? Definitely ever since I started streaming. As soon as you started seeing that hard part in my hair, that was all her. She was like, I want to do something, because I just basically was like, whatever you think will look good. Honestly, I don't care. Just cut it. And she's like, let me try some. And so she did that, and it's like, I like the way that looks. I like how short it is on this side, and then a little bit longer up here. It looks great. It looks great. And then once I found a style that worked, I'm like, I'm just sticking with that for the rest of my life. So if I could do that at home, I would always have like a nice, I don't know, I wouldn't put it off so much. I put off going there like a lot. I'm better at it than I used to be. And you should go back and watch some of the 2020 streams, because I had some hair, man. I grew up my hair in the pandemic. It was bad. It was already thinning, so like the longer your hair gets when you're thinning is like, I don't know, it's not great. But listen, I didn't want to go to a barber and get the vid, you know. And how you doing, Ursa? Good morning. I hope you're doing well. I'm kind of just filling in this morning. This feels good to me. Does this feel good to you all? Or are you bored to tears? It kind of feels good to me to just talk with you and fill this in. Is that Red? Good morning, Red. How you doing? Ah, curses. Got the Ghibli jazz going this morning. I'm feeling more awake now. I'm feeling more awake than I did 10 minutes ago. Must be the coffee finally kicking in. I don't need to be doing this. I don't need to be doing this right now, but I'm going to. I'm going to end right there and then not look back. All right. Is that far enough over, do you think? Gosh, there's so much to fill in, though. Oh, this is a problem. Should we do world edit? Doing good. WrestleMania 40 is this weekend. I'm so pumped. Are you a big wrestle person? Are you into wrestling? You know, there's a while back in... I'm not going to date myself, but when it was the WWE... shortly after they changed from the WWF because of the World Wildlife Foundation, there were some times on a Saturday night
trying to see if I want to. Yeah, this is probably pretty innocent enough. So we weren't really like allowed to watch pretty much anything on TV. But my mom had this little TV, this little like black and white TV. And, you know, it was so weird. It was like a travel TV. So it had a handle on top, and it was like silver, gray silver, and it was long. It was like probably this long. Trying to make sure it all fits in the camera. Maybe like this long. Maybe a little bit more. And probably like this thick, right? Like a cylinder down. That, not a cylinder, a square. Oh, here. It was like this. Like this, like a square like this. The screen was on this side right here. Let me illustrate in Minecraft, shall we? The screen was on this side. You could carry it in a handle. And she'd have that like in her craft room when she was like doing crafts and stuff to watch, like, I don't know, Oprah, Dr. Phil, that kind of stuff during the day. So what I would do is I'd wait till everybody was asleep, and then I'd sneak downstairs, and I would pick that TV up and take it up to my bedroom. It was I think it was black and white too. It was a little black and white TV. It was really weird. And I would bring it into my room, put that volume on super, super, super low, and then just like lay in my bed and watch what was ever on. A lot of times on Saturday nights, they would play like Star Trek episodes. So like I'd watch some Star Trek, even though that was a show we were kind of allowed to watch, but it was more the fact that I was watching it in my room alone, you know? So I would watch that. And then occasionally there would be Saturday Night Raw? What was it called? Anyway, it'd be wrestling. And that was the first time I had exposure to wrestling. And I was like, wow, this is pretty wild. And then slowly but surely I started realizing, like, wait a minute. Feels like they're reading off a script. There's no way they could do these moves to each other and not get hurt. And then I think I read somewhere at that point that, like, oh, wrestling is... I don't want to say fake. Fake is not the right word. But it's a production. It's like a play. They're just being silly little boys putting on a play, you know? And especially with all the drama between like the wrestlers and stuff. It's just them being silly boys putting on a play for their friends, you know? Pretending to be tough guys, you know? That's what boys do. Shotgun. It was Shotgun Saturday night. Huh? Clumsy gets it about the stylist. Yeah, I just don't want to. I don't want to teach anybody else. WrestleMania. It was maybe I also did Monday. Was Monday Night Raw? Monday nights, I think they also had something. Anyway, I didn't really get into it that much. I wasn't really like, this is cool. It was normally just like, hey, I went through all the trouble of sneaking this TV up to my room. I'm gonna just watch whatever's on, you know, because that's what you do. So yeah, I had a little bit of a rebellious streak, you could say. A little bit of a rebellious streak. A little bit of a bad boy. And then like because later on in the night, like late, they would start playing things like Married with Children. What else? They would play Will and Grace. Like there was a lot of like late night sitcom that were those, you know, those raunchy old sitcoms. They would play a lot of those. Married with Children, The Nanny. Like, you know, I don't know what the rhyme or reason to it was as far as like what they chose to play versus what they didn't, but those are what was it? That 70s show for a while. I did this for quite a while, I think. I think I did this quite a bit. I was always so obsessed with like the idea of watching stuff in my room alone was so like intoxicating, you know? I don't know what it was. I guess it's just, you know, something we weren't allowed to do. And I was like, I want to know why I'm not allowed to do this. So I'm going to do it. You know? Maybe it's because there was a lot of, I don't know. Maybe there was a lot of pretty women. I don't know what my reason was. What is a little teenage boy? What kind of reason do you think he had? Not me, just some boy in general. Yeah. So anyway, I did a lot of stuff like that. There was also a time, I'm not sure if you remember this. It might be dating me. This was earlier than the TV. Earlier than the TV, it was on AM radio. It was either AM or FM. One of the two. There would be a radio station that would play the live feed from like the local ABC station. And I think this might even still happen in some places. They play it over the radio so that you could like listen to the evening news on your drive home or something like that. I think that's the intention. But they used to have, obviously later in the evening, they'd have the sitcoms. So when I got my hands somehow, I don't even remember how I got it. I got my hands somehow on like a little radio. And I would turn it on to the station when I realized it's like, holy cow, it's TV. They're playing TV over the radio. How I figured all this stuff out is wild to me. But they're playing TV over the radio. Lutz, how's it going, buddy? Gonna enjoy the streak now since I'll probably miss Saturday. Oh no, do you got like a meet or something on Saturday? Just have it queued up on your phone. You're on a 15 stream streak. That's not too bad. I've seen better, but you know. I've seen more. It was so much fun, by the way, yesterday, Lutz, doing the lunges. I hope you don't mind that while you're out. I was still gonna do them anyway on my own time, so I'm gonna do them on stream while you're out. Otherwise, I will still redeem them in your stream. You can have them back when you come back. I like to hold people's things hostage anyway. All right. Little Non just wanted to look at the Pwitty Waities. I think it was just like I wanted to be entertained in general, you know? I don't think it was just that. So the radio. I have a funny story about that. Hang on. Yeah, no, I know you didn't invent it. I'm just going to try not to steal your shtick, you know? I'm already going to do that in September. Swole September's coming up. Okay, anyway, let me get back to the radio. So the radio, okay? So I would put this little radio under my pillow at a low volume because I didn't have headphones. Because you put headphones on, you're just inviting, you know, your parents finding out, right? Because you won't be able to hear anybody coming. So I put on really low. And then I'd put it under my pillow and I'd lay right here and listen to it, okay? And one of the times that I did this, there was this show that came on, and I remember it being so funny. And I was pretty young at the time, but I remember it being so incredibly funny. And they talked about like adult stuff, you know, like they're talking about, you know, but it was also a comedy. And I remember being like, oh, this is cool. And then like not thinking anything of it past that. And then I don't know. I didn't do that for too long. There was only like one episode that I remember hearing. And I'm not sure why. Maybe I got found out. I know I got found out at some point and got my radio taken from me. Because I was also listening to, at the time I was listening to, like get this, I was listening to rock music. Okay, which was actually just pop radio from the early 2000s. So a lot of Britney Spears, NSYNC, that kind of stuff, you know. That's where I heard my first emo songs, you know, Welcome to the Black Parade, like all that kind of stuff, you know. I was listening to that. I think I got more into music at the time. So I only recall listening to like one episode of that, but it burned into my memory, okay? Years go by, decades even. Too long. I don't even want to say how long it was. But it went by, way too long. So in September, I mean, I don't know. I'm doing like a whole exercise focus in September called Swoletember. It's more that I'm stealing it from Spooky more than anything. Where I'm gonna play a game and every time I die, I'm gonna do a workout, but I'm gonna pick it from a random wheel. Instead of from that, one of them is going to be lunges. Like that'll be one of the exercises on the wheel. Anyway, so not really. Probably more stealing Spookies than anything else since he did Dark Souls, you know. All right, so I was such a rebel. And so I got caught with that radio, and it was the end of the world because I was listening to rock music. And yes, it was said to me in just that way. Are you listening to rock music? I had a fun childhood. I'll tell you more about that sometime. Well-meaning parents, okay? That's all I'm going to say. They're well-meaning. But it was silly, okay? It was just silly. Anyway, Peachy, how's it going? So fast forward years. I'm working at Hastings, okay? And I don't know how I get turned on to it. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how I got turned on to it, but oh. No, hang on. You gotta fast forward to college, okay? So I'm in college and I have a laptop and access to the iTunes store. And there was this thing on iTunes store where you could buy episodes of TV shows, right? For like $1.99. Which if there's a lot of episodes that you can imagine, that would be a lot of money for a broke college student. But I remember they gave like the pilot episode or something away of this TV show. And this TV show was called Scrubs. Okay. And they gave away like for free the pilot episode to try to get you hooked. Well, it worked. So I ended up buying a whole season, but I bought I think it was a current season they were on, which was season 5, which is why to this day, season 5 of Scrubs remains one of my favorite seasons of television, probably ever. So now fast forward to Hastings, okay? Your mom went to college. Do the chickens have large talons? Fast forward to after college now. A couple years later, working at Hastings, books, music, games, that kind of place. Sort of like a Blockbuster, but cooler, much cooler. And I'm like, oh, that show that I watched in college, I can buy the entire DVD box sets of each season. So I started at season 1 and purchased season 1 used. Like we also had used, you could like sell your stuff back. So I got it for like pretty cheap at the time. And I still have that collection to this day in the closet behind me. Anyway, started watching that religiously. And I don't remember exactly what season it is, but I get to this season and I'm watching it and I have the weirdest case of deja vu ever. And I'm like, wait, I've never watched this before. Why am I like remembering this very specific scene? Because I only watched season 5 at that time. And this was like probably, I don't know, season 2 or 3 or something. And I just got the weirdest feeling that I knew, like I'd seen this before and I couldn't figure it out until finally it snapped in me and some old distant memory awoke of little barely teenager Non sleeping on the bottom bunk of his bunk bed with a little with a little cassette player / FM radio under his pillow and hearing this specific scene play out. And it all came rushing back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this was what I was listening to all those years ago on my little radio where I didn't know where they're like talking about all this adult stuff. It was a weird moment. And yes, to this day, Scrubs remains my favorite sitcom of all time. Maybe one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Most of it does most of it holds up nowadays. There are a couple of things that are a little like, ooh, but most of it does hold up. The humor definitely holds up. It's still pretty funny. In fact, I was watching it last night while I went to sleep. So talk about full circle, right? It's probably why I like to watch things when I go to sleep. Full circle. It was a full circle moment. It was pretty great. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. Is Coleman here? Coleman, hi. I'm sorry I didn't say hi to you. I was deep in the middle of a story. But hello. I hope you're doing well. But yes, Scrubs. And then yes, Kay found out that Kay likes Scrubs as well. And that blossomed into a beautiful friendship, you know? Yeah, it's such a great show. It really is. There's just something about the comedy that just really worked for me. Yeah. And so I had those DVDs through the end of working at Hastings when I'm not going to tell the rest of this story. Maybe one day you'll hear it, but I would watch those DVDs just about every night as I fell asleep, because I was in a very scary place, living in the back room, in the back like Sunday school room of a random church in Tennessee. And that is a story for another time, because that is a story and a half. There's a story of a guy called the church hobo. And that guy is me. But it's a long story, and it requires a whole lot of background that I'm not sure would be maybe sharing too much. You'll get it one day. We'll talk about it one day. But yeah, for a long time I used Scrubs to fall asleep. And even last night I was watching season 2. Might have been, yeah, season 2. I was watching season 2 last night as I fell asleep. It's nostalgic. That's what it is, you know? I think that's far enough out. Look at how much we've gotten done just by chatting, you know? That does sound scary. It's kind of a funny story. Also kind of pathetic. Also kind of embarrassing a little bit. But also like one of those times in my life where like, I don't know. It was cathartic in a way as well. I don't know. If it hadn't happened, I wouldn't be where I'm sitting right now. Absolutely would not be. If I was not a church hobo, I would not be sitting where I'm sitting right now. The church hobo story. I'm going to have to like hype that up a lot and then just never talk about it again. Obviously, we're going to come through here and redo some of this stuff. Holy cow. I feel like this needs to come out even further. What am I thinking? The regulars and the VC shared their favorite cold open moments from Scrubs fairly recently. Mine still makes me laugh. What's yours? Scrubs is a beautiful comedy that's not always a comedy. It has some deeply touching, serious moments too. Looking at you, Brendan Fraser, there have been many times where I have bawled my eyes out to Scrubs. That is very true. So true. Yeah, that moment in particular, and then also JD's finale in season 8, the end of season 8, which technically is the last season of Scrubs. You can't tell me otherwise, even though I did like season 9. I thought season 9 was pretty funny, but it just shouldn't have been called Scrubs. It should have been called Med School. But anyway, it was like a soft reboot where they like wanted to continue using the name Scrubs, but have different characters. Some different characters. Some of them were the same, but there's some good stuff in season 9 as well. I don't write it off. It's pretty great. It has the season 9 has Dave Franco in it. That was my first exposure to Dave Franco, the less famous brother of James Franco, who you might know from such hits as Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3, among other things, as like Planet of the Apes, the reboot. You remember that, right? I'm so glad you like Scrubs, Peachy. It's so great. Mine is when they're sitting in the coffee shop at the hospital and Elliot keeps saying the comedy trope lines and Turk and JD keep finishing them before she does. She finally just screeches at them like, "Stop it!" Her voice gets really high. Yeah, that's a good one. One of my favorite janitor moments is when they're talking about politics. I think this has to be later on in like season 8. He like admittedly doesn't know a lot about politics, but he's like, everyone sure is talking loud about things. I think I'll join in, and it's one of my favorite things about the janitor. It's pretty great. And then he just goes, there's so many I could pick from. It's just good. My sister got me into Scrubs. She's fairly good comedy taste. That's good. Ghost, what's up, Ghost? Never really watched it enough to love it. I feel like it hooked me the first that pilot episode. That pilot episode that iTunes fed to me, I got hooked immediately. And I was like, I want more of whatever this is. It makes my brain feel good. Yeah. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Did it all date itself well? Not really. One of the things that's kind of fun, if you're thinking about rewatching it, you could always rewatch it with the Scrubs podcast, with Donald Faison and JD. That's all I'll ever call him, Zach Braff. But they do a podcast like reviewing the episodes, and some of the ones that got, I don't think it ever got super problematic. But there are a couple of times where they've been like, okay, listen, we got to address this. This is wrong. We shouldn't have made this joke. It's not funny. But you know, here it is. But I don't remember there being anything deeply problematic. That wasn't already a problem in Hollywood in general. You know what I mean? I don't know. As someone who has never seen Scrubs, I mean, it's fine. You don't have to. My favorite janitor moment was when he gets into JD's head. He's watching The Fugitive. That's great. He thinks he's in the movie. Next day, JD says, you're an actor. And the janitor, with no hesitation, goes, you're a fireman. What are we doing? And then, like, at the end, he goes, Kimbo? And he goes, if you tell anyone, I'll kill you. and then, like, towards the very end, when he finally tells, he's like, I don't even know your name. And he tells him a name. And it's this touching moment where you're like, wow, we finally learned the janitor's name. And then some guy walks by and it was like, how's it going, Craig? Like a completely different name. And he's like, hey, what's up? So it's like, you don't even know if that was actually real or not. It's so great. So funny. There's a lot of good moments in there like that. A lot of good, it pays itself off the more you watch it. So, like, I could understand why somebody dropping into the middle of, like, season 2 is kind of going to be like, all right, what is this? Because there's a lot of, like, inside jokes that develop over the course of the show. And they kind of come back. There's a bunch of callbacks. I mean, a lot of comedies did that at the time. Like, Friends was one that kind of did that similar thing. Sort of rewarded the people who were there watching it. Like, oh, that's a reference to this thing that happened a couple seasons ago, you know. I skipped the first season and pretend it didn't happen. Of Scrubs? You skipped the first season of Scrubs? I like the first season of Scrubs. I like the early seasons the best, I think. I still think season 5 will always be my favorite because it was the season that I started on. But yeah. All good comedies are like that. You don't acknowledge character setup? I love character setup. And how's it going, Ark? I hope you're doing well. Good to see you, buddy. I know that the gameplay's kind of boring today, but I've been having fun talking to you all about my weird childhood. Very weird. I got a lot of stories like that. I got probably a dozen stories like that. You're not ready for them, though. I'm not super embarrassed by it because most of my embarrassing stories were a direct result of the way that I was raised. And I didn't really have a say in that, obviously. So yeah, I'm trying not to be too hard on myself, you know? Superstore Nails Season 1. I do like Superstore. The Good Place is also amazing. If you haven't seen The Good Place, that's a great show too. And it's not too long. You can absolutely abandon Season 1 and Season 9. I think Season 9 is not bad. It shouldn't have been Season 9. It should have been Scrubs Med School. But personally, I think there's enough in Season 9 that I still find kind of funny. I thought that the girl that they had come in to kind of take JD's place as like the main character, I thought she was pretty fascinating. I thought she was funny. Yeah, she was a little bit like JD, but hey, listen, that's the show, you know? So I kind of understood why they'd want a character somewhat similar to him, even though there's some key differences there. But I could understand that. Zach Braff drove that show, right? And Donald, obviously, but that really was his show. So it kind of made sense that if you're going to continue it, you had to have something similar. But man, I don't know. I still really like season 1. I like the ending of season 1. And the beginning of season 2 is one of my favorites too, where they do that Overkill song. I actually really like that part. Coleman, you could never get into Friends. I watched the whole thing and was left kind of feeling like, okay, cool, I watched it. All right, now let's move on. You know, I watched the whole box set one time, just binged the whole thing, and I was like, all right, cool. So I've watched Friends now. Awesome. I knew somebody who was really into it, and they let me borrow the whole box set. Mahoney is pretty great. I do like Mahoney. You're right. You're right, Ghost. Yeah. That was a good character, too. Friends is my ride or die, says Peachy. I practice my transcription skills by listening to episodes of Friends and typing the dialogue. That's pretty cool. I mean, they can talk fast in that show, too, so that's good. That's good practice. It's good practice. Pivot. 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 Let's see. The janitor's wedding episodes are my favorite. Those were pretty cool when they went to was it Hawaii or yeah, they went somewhere like that, and it immediately felt like a different show. It was really funny. So the first season feels like an audience test run. Fair enough. JD is tragic the whole time. Season 2 he becomes a goofy, relatable loaf. It's almost like they rewrote the personality or like dialed it in a little bit. I could definitely see that. Like, it is a lot of setup. It is a lot of building of the character. I still personally like it a lot. Hey, Nerd Dak, how's it going? There's a familiar face, everybody. I think I made a new friend on Twitter the other day, and that's Dak. Am I saying your name right? Please tell me I'm saying your name right. But hello, Twitter friend. It's been a long time since I made a new friend on Twitter. It's kind of a ghost town over there. Finally catching you live. Can't confirm he's the worst. Who? Me? Oh, okay. I get the joke. I think I get the joke now. I think I get it. I've seen episodes of Big Bang Theory here and there. I find them somewhat amusing. The Big Bang Theory was so hit and miss for me too. Yeah, it's like in the beginning I really enjoyed it, and then I felt like it kind of played itself out too much and got a little annoying with the whole haha, you're a nerd funny kind of humor. It felt like they were doing it mean, like sometimes they were a little bit too mean about it and less about like it being about funny people. But also I think towards the end I started liking that show a little bit more too, because it got a little bit more like about the personal relationships, and I cried at the end of it. Okay. I did. I've said it before, I'll say it with my whole chest again. NBC really nails it with comedies, both as a whole and especially with series finales. Are they doing it now? What kind of sitcoms does NBC have out right now? Is Abbott Elementary, is that an NBC one? Because that one's pretty good. I'm the only one who's actually gotten it right. Awesome. Twitter is scary these days. If it's not for people saying what real Star Wars fans think, it's some alt-right weirdo. Exactly. Honestly, so I found people on Twitter like Jacob and Dan, Star Wars Uncentralized. And honestly, people like that are like the only reason why I continue to use Twitter, because I almost just stopped. It's like, I just feel like I'm shouting into a void and nobody cares. And anytime somebody does care, it's some person being like, oh, lol, Trump 2024. I was like, all right, okay, I see what we're doing here. I might still end up deleting Twitter at some point, but I keep meeting cool people, and that's making it really hard. So stop it. I just refuse to exist in that space anymore. I completely deleted my Twitter. I have mad respect for that. I do. Abbott is ABC, but Abbott is fantastic. Abbott Elementary is wonderful. So yeah, what's going on NBC lately then? I don't guess I know any NBC comedies. Like current ones. Big Bang Theory felt like let's laugh at the autistic man being quirky. I hated it. Yeah, so that kind of started getting to me like midway through the show. I guess probably also as I learned more that like a lot of the traits that they were laughing at were just, yeah, traits of autism. And I don't know, it just felt a little weird to me. But it did have some redeeming moments that I thought were kind of funny. But I don't know. Overall, I think I don't go back and watch it now. I rewatched the series not too long ago, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'm done. I don't think I'll come back to that later. It could have been so good if it was a little bit more respectful of nerd culture, you know? It could have been really good. I refuse to call it X until they change the website address. I'm never going to call it X. I don't even care. I don't care. That's silly. It is Twitter. It's just like the creator of GIFs can totally be wrong about the way that GIF is pronounced. He's allowed to be wrong about it. Doesn't make him right. Just because he created it doesn't mean that he's right about it, you know? So, same way, it's spelled X, but it's pronounced Twitter. That's what I say. Man, in like 20 years, I'm going to be such a boomer. Being like, back in my day, this X thing was called Twitter. And the kids are going to be like, what are you talking about, old man? Go away. 20 years is probably going to be more like 5. I can just see it now. The Zoomers are going to make fun of us for calling it Twitter. Be like, I bet you still call X Twitter. And it's going to be a sick burn. And they're going to be right. It will be a sick burn, but still makes me sad. I'm just filling in here, guys. I hope that's cool. I'm having a lot of fun talking to you. So I hope it's okay that I just continue to mindlessly fill this area in, because I'm going to need quite a bit to fill in here. So let's keep going. In 20 years. Yeah. I rethought that. Okay. I tried Abbott and couldn't get into it, which I know makes Coleman sad, but it's Coleman, so he'll play it off well. Be nice to Coleman. Let's see. Favorite Big Bang Theory is when another male character, forgot their name, was trying to get Sheldon out of the ball pit. Yeah. Kept disappearing, then popping back up, saying Bazinga. Yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah. That was pretty funny. Lately, I'm not 100% sure. I think the last good comedy I caught from NBC was Superstore. I think that's done, though, right? Friends, Scrubs, Good Place, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, The Office, Parks and Rec. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Nerd, or Dak, sorry. Your favorite Star Wars movie is Rogue One. I can respect that. I'm going to do a whole Star Wars movie tier list, I think soon. Sometime probably this month. It's been something I've meant to do for a long time. It's just really hard. It's hard to pick like the best one. It's easy for me to pick the worst one. That's easy because they made it really easy to pick the worst one. I'm just going to let you try to figure out which one that is. But even in the worst of Star Wars, I find something to love in all of it.
It's Chuck Norris's
let's
water.
see.
It's
Thank
a
you
roundhouse kick of hydration.
Thank you for the roundhouse kick of hydration. NBC is still riding on Modern Family. I thought that was done. I'm actually starting to watch Modern Family through again. I like to wait until a show's like done. But yeah, I'm still in season 1 right now. To be fair though, Modern Family is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's pretty good. I'm wondering what binging all 9-ish seasons. There might be more than that. I'm wondering what that's gonna do to me. But you know, if it's gonna kind of play itself out too quickly. There's a difference between watching something while it's running on TV and then binging through it. You can kind of, me personally, I can get burned out like pretty quick, but I just watched through New Girl though again, and I did not get burned out on that show at all. New Girl is fantastic. So funny. That one, I just wanted more. I wanted more of that by the time it ended. The last season was a little underwhelming because it was so short, but it was still much appreciated. The ball pit that got me to start the series. That was pretty funny. Coleman doesn't deserve my kindness because he's ignoring me today. Coleman deserves everybody's kindness. Coleman is amazing. My ex-fiance liked Parks and Rec. Meanwhile, I couldn't get into it at all. Different strokes, different folks, right? Parks and Rec is one of my favorites, though. But like, I can kind of get why somebody is gonna be like, listen, I don't really like The Office. I don't really like Parks and Rec. I don't really like that mockumentary style. I can kind of understand where they're coming from. I just don't agree, you know? I can understand why someone wouldn't like it, but I personally like it a lot. Another one though, that kind of like the last season's kind of, I don't know. I like it when a series can follow through and give a good, satisfying ending, rather than just being like canceled. However, maybe sometimes you just get canceled. Maybe it's okay, you know? Ba-bum-bum. Pirate Eggs. Pirate Eggs is here. Thank you for that roundhouse kick of hydration. What a comeback story, too. Al Bundy disappearing for 15 years. He does another major long-running show. So true. I actually had to look it up and be like, wait, is this the same guy from Married with Children? We were talking about that earlier, and it is. All right, friends, I have to go to work. Hopefully I don't just slip in the shower and hit my head and go into a coma until after the election. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. That's a long time, though. Let's wait until closer to November. It's going to be a wild ride, and we'll be here for it all. Thanks for showing up, Dak. I appreciate that. I have very much enjoyed what I've seen on Twitter. Seems like we kind of run in similar circles, so very cool to see him. Don't drop the soap. Before I leave Veep, I started Veep a while back, and I have not finished it. I will try to finish that. I liked it. I liked what I was watching when I watched it. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. I hope I'm saying her name right, but she might have been the only reason why I actually liked Seinfeld. But anyway, my brother was a huge Office fan. Personally, I think I just can't do sitcoms. That's fair enough. I don't enjoy feeling happy. Come on. I watch TV shows and movies to escape reality, not be reminded of it. I feel the same way about games, which is why I'm not a huge fan of survival games where I have to eat and sleep and such. Yeah, that's fair enough. Excited for November, not because of politics, but because Arcane Season 2 is coming out. That's the real, that's what we're waiting for in November. It was scary when Trump started doing the same thing she did on that show. Oh no. Okay, I'm gonna have to finish it. I'm gonna have to finish that for sure. That's funny. I don't know. I'm not looking forward to the election cycle's already started, but I just yeah, we'll talk more about it sometime. It's like, this is supposed to be a comedy. You're not supposed to be emulating this. Come on. Okay, I've been filling this in all morning. But I'm happy with the progress. I do think that if I can get this line to follow all the way back here, I think that would be enough for the buildings that I need. Because I think the buildings are going to be like right here. So yeah, if I can get this done, that'd be good. You know what? I never finished because I got bored with it, but continue to go back to season 1, Arrested Development. Arrested Development is also very good, especially the early seasons. Especially. The Netflix season, it was weird. The mechanic that they used was odd. I don't know why they decided to go with that mechanic. I don't know why they felt like it needed a weird hook. But it was brave. It was bold. They tried something. But it was kind of like... But I really love like the first like 4 seasons of Arrested Development. The first ones. Good stuff. Good stuff. Also another fall asleep show for me. You know? What season of Gilmore Girls? Gilmore Girls. Should I watch Gilmore Girls? I've never watched that. So I'm really deeply curious right now. Hang on. I gotta find out what sitcoms NBC has right now. Okay, so really? Oh, yeah, okay, listen. Maybe I need to give some of these a chance. Maybe I need to give some of these a chance. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, that's not still running, is it? It shows Brooklyn Nine-Nine on here. But there's these ones like Lopez versus Lopez. I saw a trailer for that. Night Court, the Night Court reboot. I don't know, maybe NBC has fallen off. None of those sound like good to me. Hold on, let me see. Of course, we aren't in fall. I think fall was typically where like the good shows come out, but Lopez versus Lopez. What other sitcoms do they have right now? I'm not aware of any others. Help me. I think Gilmore Girls is cringe TV for sure. You just can't help but to hate the characters. Ugh. Ads have started. Thank you, Bebo. See you back in a minute if you get caught in those. The OG Night Court was so good. Huh. Yeah, and the George Lopez show, I don't know. These just don't seem like the same caliber as NBC used to put out. Maybe they've fallen off. Oh, American Auto. Yeah. Did that one get renewed? I did hear about that one at least. Oh, and also wasn't Joe McHale in one called Animal Control? I think. And I don't know if that did well, but I do like Joe McHale. Animal Control TV series. It says there are 2 seasons. Okay, listen, 2 seasons, but 16 episodes. I really hate the 8 episode arcs. I really hate that. The shows that I'm watching right now, like I went through like New Girl and stuff. These shows had like 22 episodes a season, like 20 to 22, sometimes 23 and 24. Ken Jeong is in that too. Sarah Chalk is in there. Sarah Chalk is in. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch Animal Control. Yeah, apparently it had in February 2024, ahead of the second season premiere. The series was renewed for a 3rd season. Oh, that's not NBC. That's Fox. That's not NBC. Yeah, it's not. But Animal Control is good. Okay, I'm gonna have to watch Animal Control then too. So I guess I could show you what I'm looking at. This is what I'm looking at. But yeah, it's Fox. Isn't American Auto by the Superstore people? Maybe. I didn't finish all of Superstore. I need to go back and watch Superstore. Yeah, I mean, that's a guy from Superstore. He was in that. I think she was too. Was she in Superstore? Oh, definitely him. This guy was. That was the main guy. I hate 8 episode seasons. It's annoying. It's so annoying. I really dislike it. Marcus, we love Marcus. Okay, I'll have to try American Auto then. Did it get... It's got 2 seasons. Did it get renewed? I hate when you like get into a show and it just recently got canceled. Okay, so I got 2 other shows to check out. I am on a Modern Family binge right now. I watched a lot of Modern Family already, but I stopped. Probably, I don't know. Gosh, when? Who knows when? It kind of fizzled out, and then I was like, okay, I'll just wait for it to like be done essentially, and then I'll just watch them all. Is it done? Is Modern Family done? Young Sheldon is 20+ episode seasons too. Yeah, and I think Big Bang Theory had a lot of episodes in their seasons too, right? Mr. Peachy got into the Orville, great show when it went on Hulu. That one has been up in the air forever in regards to season 4. No one can confirm or deny it. Yeah, that's a good one though. Surprisingly so. Surprisingly so. I liked the level of humor in that. I was really a little worried that the the Orville was going to be like
Guys,
too
I was
much of a
supposed to go to work
comedy
today. I gotta go.
I do have to go. However, it turned out to be more like just a Star Trek than anything. Like there was a couple of gags here and there, but for the most part, it was like a fairly serious Star Trek contender, you know? Pretty wild. I do have to go. Unfortunately. Thank you for just bearing with me as I filled this in. I know that's not the most riveting gameplay, but I had such a good time talking to you all today. For real. It's been so much fun. Pretty good. The cast is amazing, supporting the show to support Asian actors. Which one are you talking about? Oh, the Avatar. Okay, so we watched the first episode of the Avatar on Netflix, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and the only thing I couldn't help but think is like this is fairly decent. This is fairly decent. I like it. However, I don't really know why it exists. Like, my wife was watching it too, and I was like, you know, this is fine, but I can't help but feel like you'd probably just enjoy the Nickelodeon series if you watched that instead. You know what? Like, you know, with something like One Piece was so hard to get into the anime, right? So in a way, I can kind of understand why you'd want to condense One Piece down into like, you know, an 8 to 10 episode arc for each season. Because otherwise the other show is it's so hard, it's kind of inaccessible to a lot of people. It's so hard to get into. So I kind of got that. I was like, okay, this makes sense that you'd want to like kind of redo this. But like the Avatar thing is so it's at least so far felt very similar to me to the animated, that I'm like, but the animated is obviously superior just because like it's funnier. I found it to be like more enjoyable to watch, easier to watch, that kind of stuff. So I was kind of just left with like, I don't think I'm gonna finish it because I know the story, I know what happens. I think if you hadn't seen the Nickelodeon one, maybe, but it's like you could also just go watch the Nickelodeon one, right? Sorry, I had to send a message. What is this? What is this? What is this Lutz clip? Hold on, let me open it up. Oh, that was for Annie? Absolutely. It's almost gone. That's so great. It's hard to hold a boob and talk. I get it. That's such a gentle squeeze. What's up with that? That's awesome, though. That's so great. Whoa, that's so loud. That's so great. I'm so glad to hear that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, the One Piece live action was really good. I had to get a squeeze in quick. We're here for you. Whatever you're doing, we'll watch. Oh, thank you. I won't test the limits of that, though, because I doubt that that's the case. Anyway. He's respectful now. Learn it. Hey, listen. I am the most respectful. I'm too respectful, to be honest. I'm too gentle and too kind. Okay? It was just a little good for him for maintaining his composure during that whole thing. That was great. I know, I saw. Thank you. It's called respect. Maybe learn it. That's so great though. That's so great to hear. Hopefully the lucky boob luck streak continues. and everything ends up very well in that situation. Out of context, I'm sure that sounded very odd, but just as long as you're disrespectful at the appropriate moments, you'll never know. You'll never know. I've just got to finish this. I'm just a couple more rows here, and then I'll go. I'll let you go to Loots. I'll let you go, I guess. This has been a lot of fun, though. Where's Mrs. Thunder when you need her? She'll watch this. She'll watch this later. She will. I don't know why I feel the need or compelled to do this, but I feel compelled right now to do that. I don't know why. Just for realism's sake. Okay, that's perfect. I think that'll give me enough room to build the majority of the buildings. I might have to come and extend it out a little bit more later. But it's I'm coming to realize then that it probably means that I didn't pick the proper location for this. You know. Okay, since she's watching later, Mrs. Nutters, I hope he's the most disrespectful. Oh, okay, yeah. That's what you mean. Listen, it's fine. It may fall. It could fall, right? This is just sand, so it could fall. So I got to put a little pillar right there. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for me. Don't know why I'm continuing. I don't want to go. I would rather do this than work. What does that say about my work? That I'd rather just slowly fill in blocks in Minecraft than do the job that I get paid to do. What is that? What have they done to us? What did they do to us? That was the day that I realized that I'm not happy because I don't love my work. Anybody watch that on Netflix? Do you know what I'm referencing there? Freaking funniest thing in the world. What am I doing? Why am I not leaving? I gotta go. All right, right there. Save and quit. There's just no end to it. I could just keep going. You hang out with Ursa and Cora. My mind is adult themed mush. I'm so sorry. You need to go through a purge or something. I don't know. Wrong screen. We need something to reset your brain, get you back in the wholesome. I can get you to log out. Let's discuss Legos. Dang it, Kay, I was actually going to just end right there. I do have the raid set up. I was just going to end. Do you want the sticker rant or do you not want me to sticker rant? I was actually just going to completely raid out and not say another word after the Legos. The raid came before you said it. It was going to be funny and you've ruined it. What do you want? Do you want the sticker rant or do you not? That's the option of that. You can either get the sticker rant or keep me from doing the sticker rant. Rant until the raid. Okay, listen. The way that sometimes they cut corners on bigger sets with Lego in regards to the stickers, the way they kind of like, there are some sets where there's no printed stickers, like the Millennium Falcon that we just created. There's no printed stickers on that. But on the Tantive 4, which is a similarly priced set, does have printed stickers, right? And then I get a little $20 set for my kid, and it has no stickers. It has printed pieces, and those are unique pieces. Those are not like the Millennium Falcon one, where the printed pieces can be reused on other Millennium Falcons or other Star Wars products like that. These are ones that you can